got to get on with it. I don't have long, and there's so much to do. The show must go on, I gotta make it. No hesitating, and no time for waiting on you. Ain't no more time left to linger. Been wasting my life, and the wasting is through. You had me under your finger, but time is a flying, so I quit my crying. You used to rule me, I won't let you fool me, 'cause I'm finally knowing there's nothing I'm owing to you. You got those icy fingers creeping up and down my spine with your lying whispers. You do your best to mess with my mind, but now I'm tired of hiding behind your threatening veil. 'Cause I'm bound for glory. You say I'll never make it, but I know I will. I will.
Okay, guys, come on in, share the broadcast. And by the way, if you're watching on D Live, they did not update my title. My title is You've Got to Do Your Own Stuff.
You got those icy fingers creeping up and down my spine with your lying whispers. You do your best to mess with my mind, but now I'm tired of hiding behind your threatening veil. 'Cause I'm bound for glory. You say I'll never make it, but I know I will. Got to get on with it. I don't have long, and there's so much to do. The show must go on, gonna make it. No hesitating, and no time for waiting. You used to rule me, now I won't let you fool me, 'cause I'm finally knowing there's nothing I'm owing to you.
Well, everyone, I am at least mildly surprised that I'm here today because I felt a shift in the wind. What was that thing in Mary Poppins where all of a sudden she says, you know, there's a shift in the wind and I got to move on to my next kids? And you kind of go, no, Mary Poppins, you can't. And she does. She gets up and she goes off into the clouds into her next assignment. And to be honest with you folks, that's kind of where I've been. I wish I had as cool of shoes and hat and umbrella, talking parrot umbrella, to take me to the next place as good old Mary did. Sorry, let's fix this. But I still feel that shift in the wind. It does make me want to stand up with my feet like this, you know, and go off into the distance. So I'm actually surprised, but I feel like there's some benefit into keeping some connection with you guys. But I need to kind of tell you what's happening. And look at that. It's loading, loading, loading. You'll be able to find this if you're on Facebook Live. Maybe you'll see me. It is going to just somehow populate a Twitter thing. This is on my own website, julielavender.com, in the broadcast section and live streams. These are there. They're on YouTube, Twitch, DLive. And somebody was asking me the other day, I had 2 years worth of broadcasts that Periscope wiped out. But I do have quite a few on YouTube, and there's a lot of content there that can be helpful to you. But I have to tell you what is one of the main keys that you've got to get under your belt in order to do this fear-free living thing for yourself. Because the issue, my friend, is not you coming here every day to watch me and me telling you how to do it. The issue is that you've got to take ownership of your own life. You've got to take ownership of what you need to be doing in order to step in. I have spent well over 2 years, 5 days a week, for a half an hour at least, mostly come rain or come shine, showing up every day and just dripping out and feeding out understanding about how the life skill of fear-free living. We even have t-shirts. Amy Graff has t-shirt information. In fact, Amy, if you want to text me the link, I will definitely put that out there today so that people have it for the future. But we've got pretty cool t-shirts, and they're even going to go higher quality when she gets her whole vinyl thing going. But and our price point is probably going to be like $25, but look, it's going to be, these awesome fear-free living things. But things like live fear-free, you learn to be afraid, you can learn to be free. Go do something that scares you, trample on serpents and scorpions, crunch, squish, or squish, crunch, squish, crunch. Some really fun t-shirts, things that you've probably picked up on that I've said. But, I really did feel sort of the wind come out of my sails after we returned from Florida. And I realized that I have business I have to do. I have some things that I've got to get on with. And I actually have to create a business and shift what I've been doing in order to serve the people that I believe God wants me to serve in the coming hour, in the wind shift. That's kind of tough because I got used to being identified with one thing, one set of activities, and one sort of persona, and one raison d'etre, one reason why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I get up to do every day. And then that sort of drained out of the balloon. I talked to you about that. I'm all about fear-free living, but now I want to go deep with people. I want to go in to reach a specific group of people who is ready for a whole other page, a whole other destiny page to open. And I'm working on that. And that's really making me go deep, very deep. And so I will check in with you guys and encourage you and try to stay connected. But here's the deal. For over 2 years, I have mentored you and counseled you and encouraged you. And it's been important for me because what did we just live through, you guys? We just lived through an attempt to control the whole world, to destroy the world, to put our burqas on, to control our brains, to rule our country, to steal our elections, to steal our presidency, to steal our minds, our hearts, our freedom, our health, our clarity, our confidence, our relationships, our gatherings. Listen, this was push all the chips to the table in a plan to take the world. It's no small thing what you and I have survived. It's no small thing that we spent the last 2.5 years or longer together, daily, slogging it out and staying together and learning things and investing in that. Is no small thing. It's changed me that I got on here every single day, Monday through Friday, and other things with live music events and stuff and presence jazz worship, that I had to show up every day for you. It meant that I actually had to put makeup on most days. I'm just saying. And that if there's no other contribution that you guys helped me with, bring the world a better looking face, because I had to show up. I had to be ready. I'd get up in the morning and go, what do I have to do? What projects where I'm going to write? And then I think, wait a minute, I got that live stream at 1:15. I gotta be ready. I gotta have my head in the way. What's coming up? What's God dealing with in me? What can I say? What can I offer? And how much makeup can I glop on this face to show up and look like I'm really in it to win it, right? Because I am. So the contributions that we've made to each other over the last couple of years are no small thing. But it is really interesting when you wake up one day and you have 30,000 people on your broadcast, and then the next day you're lucky if you can get 100. That's just an interesting shift. And then that gives us the opportunity to reevaluate. Who did I serve? How did I serve them? How did they really change? How did they really grow? Of those people who used to watch 20, 30,000 views from time to time, and just under regular circumstances, several thousand with just my own Periscope following, how many of those people just clicked through because it was a nice distraction? It was just filling time. It was just a feel-good moment. Or how many people got it and understood that they have to become people who manage and steward their minds, their souls, their bodies, their choices, their directions, to actually live out of the maturity, the emotional and spiritual maturity of fear-free living. How many people got that? How many people just that really settled in them? Now, it's okay if a lot of people drove by. It's a drive-by healing, a drive-by moment, because over the last year, we needed every one of those, didn't we? My day used to go from this broadcast, start with Pepper, and then we move on. And then Larry started coming, and then we got Lisa, and Andrea, and then Dilly, and then Medic, and oh my gosh, the drive time, Greg Harvey, and sort of having these people like in the soundtrack to my emotional life and what I was doing. So come on, guys, we can get through this. What an incredible blessing. What an incredible connection. And then I'd hear from people, wow, what you said today, I'd get Facebook messages and different things, saying, wow, this really helped me. And what a great thing to know. But in the end, now, my friends, it's time for a different season. We really have to move from the hand holding, and we pretty much have. You know why? Because what happens when your binky's gone? So I got a story. My kids, I love binkies. I love pacifiers. And thank God my kids were pacifier babies, because that meant I had something I could do to plug it, when they needed soothing. But there came a time when they were getting a little old, and I was concerned that they were not going to be able to let go of Binky. And I didn't really want to have some big traumatic thing. So I did a sneaky thing. You remember, Jean-Marc? It was pretty young. About 2, I think. I took the binkies, and I snipped the nice tip off of it and handed it to my kids and said, here you go. Here's your binky, And they all pretty much immediately put them in their mouths and went, oh, and threw them out. And I kept saying, no, here's your binky, have it. It's good, it's great, it's exactly what you need. Go for it. And they would move off because it was uncomfortable. It didn't provide the same thing anymore. It just wasn't the thing they needed at the time. And we've been going through a transition where ours is much more of like a weaning, where broadcasters are less and less available. You have to be more intentional who you're going to watch, what information. It's not just being fed to us. We're not just sitting there like, we're having to go. We're also having that thing happen where we're no longer, what happened in Jerusalem, the persecution in Jerusalem that occurred in the book of Acts meant that the believers actually had to go and do what they were supposed to do, which was to take the gospel into all the nations. They were fat and happy in the glorious outpouring of the Holy Spirit in Jerusalem with their communities and so close to ground zero where it all happened, and thousands of people coming, and they forgot, oh my gosh, our mission's out there, ends of the earth level stuff. And so the discomfort sent them out to do their thing. The discomfort of having broadcasters fade away, the discomfort of having people censored. You know, I used to be like, I could count on Matrix Groove Hour, you know, and then, oops, blow them up. I could count on this person, that person, the other thing, people that I was really tied into, you know, maybe Chris Mack or, you know, the Spiritual Smackdown on Monday nights. And I had my whole life, you know, I was more like my parents than my parents. Yo, honey, Vanna White's going to do Wheel of Fortune at 6. Let's plan our night out by our broadcast. And then, oh my gosh, we've got Huntley and Brinkley are coming on or whatever. And that sort of, I'm planning my day. That was okay because we were in a worldwide existential crisis. And that has shifted so that it looks a little bit different now. Now we're being empowered to go out and shake it up. Now the persecution, the removal of our 45 legally elected president forced us to leave Jerusalem, forced us to leave the cloister, forced us to leave the daily programming of all the people, the drip, drip, drip of the opium, the morphine drip of the last year. Yeah, because honestly, we have like, okay, I need the comfort. Oh, my discomfort level's coming up. Call the nurse. I need more morphine in my drip. That's how it felt sometimes. I don't know about you guys. And it's been a joyful time. It's been an encouraging time, you know? But I noticed that as one broadcaster after another moved away and shifted, that I started to get something back. I started to get back time. Time to write, time to think, time to create, time to become a force within my community for some serious warfare, which I have to rethink because I want to make sure I'm on track and I'm in staying in my lane because my calling is as an artist and a community builder, right? But the reality is that there comes a point in time when we don't need to hold each other's hands anymore. I've never been a fan of daily devotions. I'm just going to tell you that. I find them, it's like there's certain things I'm not into and it's daily devotions. But I'll tell you, you guys, for me, whether I was speaking to you or I was listening to broadcasts, there was this daily drip of hang in there that was super important. But I find that in order to do the work I need to do and create and think and connect, I got to have now, it's back to having space and quiet and focus. And if we're in each other's faces all the time with our broadcasts and our hand holding, that can't really happen in the same way. So what I'm going to tell you, one of the main keys to you actually living a fear-free life on your own is identifying the thing that if you don't do it, you're going to die. You got to do your own stuff. There were a lot of reasons over the last year why we couldn't do that. I was getting ready to launch my 14-week program, and then boom, COVID, everybody's scared, everybody's worried about money, nobody wants to spend anything, they don't know what's going to happen, even though my Fearfree program probably would have been awesome for people. And so I used that as my excuse for a year. And it was a really great excuse. And, you know, I'm glad that I did things a little bit differently. I learned about being a content provider. But you know what else I learned? That I learned that if I just sit here and provide content, that actually is a way of avoiding creating a business. If I'm just the free content provider who pours out and pours out, as good as that is, and I will continue to do that in some form or another, and maybe just less, maybe more like once a week or something with you guys, I don't know. It's all up in the air. If I continue, you can be doing something really great and really amazing and really wonderful. And did you know that it can be the thing that you're using to avoid the real deal? Because especially in a shift, you've been on track and then all of a sudden the shift comes. We're in that shift. We're in that massive shift. It's very uncomfortable Because when an entire planet goes from the shift of believing our media and believing our election results and believing our leaders and believing our doctors and believing our institutions, and then not so much, and then resisting and being canceled, we're in the middle of a massive shift. It's really uncomfortable, isn't it? It's kind of like I was thinking about a wave going out, you know, when the sea changes, when the tide changes. I don't know a whole lot about it, but intuitively I'm going to say that you see the water going out. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I wonder if it's coming back. It's you know. Can you imagine what the forces are out in the ocean that are turning, literally twisting the oceans to send the water back to shore? I don't know about it, but I'm going to imagine it's like the worst bowel distension anyone could even, you know, I mean, like internally just in knots, literally turning an ocean in knots. Here, the waves and the water is being drawn out magnetically, in a sense, by the force of the moon, pulled out. And now it's going to come back. There's got to be a lot of turbulent energy that and discomfort in the water, if water could feel discomfort, sending it back. That's where we are. That's where we are. And it's an uncomfortable season, but it's an important season. And if we stay, and so we need to first of all know that and be comforted that that's an important season. But I'm going to tell you that if you don't get to the point where you move past the daily drip, drip, drip of people's encouragement for you, you won't live your own fear-free life, because I just learned a new key. A new key. After 2.5 years of doing this, I learned a brand new key while I'm with you today, just moments before. The key is this. If you have not decided to do the thing that you know you have to do or you're going to die inside, the thing you have to deal with or you're going to go away quietly moaning and groaning to your grave with regret, then you'll never live fear-free, because the number one motivation for getting fear-free is the fact you have something bigger to do than be afraid. So I can hold your hand and others can hold your hand and encourage you and do your daily devotions with you and drip, drip, drip some help and some strength and encouragement. But the number one thing that's going to motivate you to develop on your own the life skill of fear-free living is determining there's something so important in you that you have to do it or you're going to die. Now, will you die externally or will you die internally? Or will your relationships pay the price for it? Because people with unrequited callings, dreams, and desires hobble their relationships with regret, shame, resentment, depression, addiction, obesity. You don't go and do what you know you have to do and make it happen and say, I don't have all the answers. I can't even remember half of what Julie Lavender said, but I got to figure out how to do this thing, and it's going to take me to the edge, and it's going to terrify me. If I don't do that, I'm going to die inside. That's the number one factor in you getting free from fear and living free from fear, is determining there's something you have to do with your life, and you're not willing to let it be undone. I didn't even write it on here. Oh my gosh, my update titles. I misspell these all the time. It's so hilarious. What's out of you in there? You've got to do your own stuff. I can't do your stuff for you. I could daily for another 2 years go on these live streams and tell you skills and this and that and whatever. And you won't do it and you won't remember it until you've decided there's something so important that you have to do. You're going to do it no matter what it costs you, because when you decide that, you'll face and learn the things I've been teaching you for the last 2.5 years or more. That's when you'll learn them, because it'll be the difference between life and death for you. When I decided I had to overcome paralyzing stage fright, And I sat down on the couch on that side of the house, and the Lord said, "It's your time." And I knew what he meant. You know, he knew that I was Mrs. Ledoux, you know, homeschool mom and all this stuff and spiritual leader and blah, 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 and doing these creative things and making a lovely house and helping the community and ministering and doing house church and, you know, homeschooling the kids and, you know, all this stuff, music lessons. And he looks at me and he goes, "That's really great. And everybody's going to applaud you for that forever, but it's time. You're not doing the real thing, are you?" Now, did he say my kids weren't valuable? Did he say it didn't matter? No, that's not what he said. But you can avoid doing the thing you were created to do for a really long time by doing a lot of other good stuff. And you won't get fear-free until you stop focusing on the good stuff, the daily morphine drip of your devotions and your connections to people and the nice things you do and the servant-y things, until you get to the point you're going, "I don't care what it takes." And you may not remember one thing I ever tell you. I mean, granted, once you decide to go do the one thing you know you need to do, then go back and watch a bunch of my YouTube videos because they'll really be relevant to you then. But when I said yes to God, I'm going to figure this out, I didn't have a plan. I didn't know anything about performance anxiety. I didn't know anything about the body, the mind, the soul. I didn't know anything about anything or brain retraining or, you know, purpose the way I know it. And I knew nothing. All I knew was, oh my gosh, I've taken the leap. I'm going to do this. And from that point on, every single thing became hyper relevant and I paid attention. Before that, it was fear management, anxiety management. Have you used our last 2-something years together as fear and anxiety management? Because it feels good to listen to somebody like me? I hope it does. Or Pepper, or Lisa, or Larry, or Dilly, or Medic, or Greg. Are all these broadcasts, or all these people in your life, or whoever you go to, has that just been sort of your long-term fear anxiety management? Because until you've decided to do your own stuff, it's not going to stick. Not the same way. So I decided to do my own stuff at another level now, a couple weeks ago. And my energy has shifted toward doing my own stuff in a different way. That's what we've all been in. God snipped the top of our binkies. They don't fit anymore. We need time. We need energy. We need to leave our houses. We need to go do things. We need to start stuff we always needed to start. Finish things we know we need to finish. Change stuff we've been avoiding. Pioneer things. The thing you know you're going to die if you don't do. You've got to do your own stuff. I can't help you with that. In fact, it'd be better if I go do mine, because I'll probably learn some things. And along the way, let's touch base. Let's check in. Like, for example, I got to finish this painting that I started, right, in the fall, when God had me take a gorgeous, it was gorgeous, very colorful set of flames, my expectations for, you know, what was going to happen in November, and so I was all excited, flamey, pretty, upbeat, like, hang on, it's coming. And then he had me paint it black. And then the feather appeared, and you guys, there's broadcasts about that. Why a feather? What's happening? And then I got stuck. I didn't finish it. Why? Because the season changed. And I couldn't do the same thing I've been doing anymore. I'm going to finish it, but it's going to look different. It's going to be a different thing. And so will you. So I actually have no idea whatsoever about whether anybody's seeing me or watching this, or I'm making an impact, or you're there or you're not there. I might post these videos in some of the Telegram rooms, you know, a link for it later. But the hand-holding is over now. You will learn to live fear-free when you determine to do the thing that you know you have to do. and you've been running from it and hiding. Then, like I said, go back and watch my videos. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing some interesting things. I'm still writing. I'm doing books. I'm going to do music and art, but I've got to go into the dark place, into the place I am not used to going into, and pioneer something that's different than what I've done before. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I will look forward to hearing about that. I am in Pepper's Telegram room and Andrea's and Lisa Perna's, kind of following along and whatever. And you can leave comments for me on Facebook Live. I do go back and try to check those. And you can reach me at julielavender.com. I will beam back in. But this is more about you now and what you have to do, what you have to decide you are going to get a handle on and do, no matter what it costs you. Then everything God brings to you, you'll pay attention to in a new way. And you'll go, wow, thank you. Thank you for pushing me past management of my fear and anxiety into the hot zone of what determines my fear-free living. Right, so, hello. Go do something that scares you. Determine, even if you do a lot of little things on a daily basis that scare you. That's good. There's a biggie. There's a biggie. At least one or more. And I will look forward to connecting with you. I'll try to do, maybe I can do it once a week. But I'm like Mary Poppins, the wind is taking me. I'm not exactly sure where we're going. I'm not gone forever. I have my parrot umbrella heading for the clouds. And I'll let you know where I land. How about that? All right, you guys, thanks for listening and watching. I'll talk to you